college official visits because I felt if I would go on those visits, I would maybe get convinced or persuaded that college might be a good thing. And who knows, maybe it could have been, maybe it would have been a great environment, but I just felt that if I went to college that I would never have a pro career after. And I do think education is important, but I feel like my decision was I can study my whole life and my body will only be fit enough to play tennis for a short amount of time. So I think I should give it my all, and that was basically the decision I had made.
Mm-hmm. So if you have, many people, many youngster American players, because we have so many colleges here, have to make this decision each time. If you have to advise, let's say tomorrow you become a coach and you have a student who struggling to decide between going pro or college, what would be your advice for them?
Well, I would, the first thing I would say is go with your gut feeling. If the player truly wants and believes that they can do well on the tour and that's what they want to do and they're willing to go through the grind and the ups and downs and they work hard on the court and they go to the courts by themselves to hit baskets of serves and they're pushing the coach even to go out and practice with them, then I say, you know what, go for it, because that means they have the work ethic, they have the drive and the desire. If it's someone that, doesn't really push themselves or isn't really willing to get their hands dirty, then I think maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be the right call, because futures and challengers are a complete grind, and there's almost every week you're going to lose. If you win the tournament, that's the only time you're going to go a week without losing. How many tournaments do you win in a year? 1, 2, 3, maybe? That means you're losing every other week. And, you have a first round loss here and there, or maybe some in a row, it gets in your head. And if you're not financially ready for it, that's even more of a grind, because then you have to share the room with other players or find some sponsors and stuff like that. So I think the player really needs to make the decision if that's what they truly want, because if they give up a college degree, full ride, paid for, to not give it their best, then it's not worth it.
Mm-hmm. You talk about the ups and downs of tennis. We all know sometimes the tennis career can be like a crossing the desert. Can you elaborate or remind us some of your ups and downs from the juniors to ITF to professional features and challengers level?
Well, you're always going to have ups and downs. It can be injuries, it can be illness, it can be a losing streak, it can be someone dies in your family. There are so many different things that it's not just tennis, it's life, and whatever's happening in life affects your tennis. So you always need to be mentally prepared that when you get injured, and injuries are almost inevitable, it seems like you're going to get injured at some point sooner or later, no matter how well you take care of your body. You have to be in a good mindset and accept that it's part of the sport. And same with the winning streaks or losing streaks. A winning streak, it's going to get broken at some point. If you're feeling good and playing well, that's wonderful, and you're supposed to ride the wave as long as possible, but it will end. But same with the losing streak, you're not going to lose forever. And I think that's one of the most important things is just, they say short-term memory is one of the most important things in tennis, that you just treat every single day as it comes. Whatever your task is at hand, that minute, that second in front of you, that's what you need to do. You can only play one point at a time. You can't think about the last point that you played. You can't think, oh, if I win this set, whatever. You just need, okay, first point of the game, I'm going to serve here, and you play that point, and then the next, and the next. And I think that's how it, the only best way to manage the ups and downs of tennis is to really live in the present. You can't live in the past or the future. You can't chase points. You can't think about defending points and things like that, because the more you think about it, the worse it's going to be.
You mentioned that you gotta have a short memory. What I used to call it delete and go, and keep on going. So basically, is you have to be able to treat defeat and victory the same. That's what you mean?
I don't think you treat them the same. Obviously, when you win a match, you want to celebrate. I think you need to give everything the attention that it deserves. I think that's something that my coach has tried to really tell me. When you have a win or a big win, of course you want to enjoy the moment, you want to celebrate. And you should. You deserve it because you did have a good win or a match or a tournament or something. But everything can't revolve around that. Same thing if you lose. You can't. If you need to shed a tear or go cry in the corner and get it out, then maybe you go do it. But there's so many things going on in the world, a win and a loss. Like at the end of the day, tennis is still a sport. So I think we need to keep it all in perspective. And I've sort of try to give myself a rule. If I lose a match and I'm really upset about it, I try and give myself 1 hour of a pity party or whatever. I can be angry for an hour and then I have to let it go and I move on because it happened. I can't change it. All I can do is learn from it and be better for the next one. But if you keep dwelling on it, it's 100% pointless.
Mm-hmm. So your philosophy is be angry for an hour about the loss, and how long you celebrate for a win?
I think that'll depend on the win. I think, I think that depends. If you have a match the next day, I think you can also be happy. Obviously, if you have a good win, you're going to be in a good mood the rest of the day. So it's hard to sort of control, you're only allowed to be happy for an hour. No, if you're in a good mood, keep the good mood as long as possible. But just once it comes time to getting ready for the next one, that's when you need to forget about the last match and already start focusing and preparing for the next one.
Great. So that's an interesting. So you have to be like a gladiator. So we're getting close to our first part of this radio show, and today Radio Sekou in Sarasota, Florida, beautiful Sarasota. Our guest is Nicole Melichar, and Nicole is a professional tennis player. And she's schooling us about, we learn about her history, her junior years. And then now the second part is going to be a little bit more focused on the professional, the travel around the world.